private corporation, where when granted by the Securities and Exchange Commission the power to incorporate, then that's the time that it can operate, and it can also sue and be sued. If it has no authority, it remains to be an illegal corporation which can be sued but cannot sue. Okay? So, the creation of a municipal corporation is a legal, okay, fiction. Okay? So, a creation or incorporation, it has a corporate name, okay, or entity known in which all corporate acts are done. So, population which is invested with the powers of the corporation through the duly constituted officers and its agents. What does it mean? The being a corporation, the power to sue or be sued or to operate is vested in the people who are voted and become an officers of the municipal corporations. So it cannot be exercised by any other person, but under the principle of local initiative, the people, even if not an officer, can actually make a law. Okay, they all have to do is to petition the law they have and let somebody in council to adopt it, okay, to sponsor it to become a law. So even if we're just an ordinary citizen, we can actually make a law by having proposed in a local initiative, and the proposal will be adopted or sponsored by local legislator for it to become a law. So the law again passed in the council and approved becomes an ordinance. In the local government units, we call all the laws as ordinance. In the higher level, we call that law as statute. Okay. Okay, governmental, corporate, or proprietary exercise in administering the powers of the state and promoting public welfare, and they include legislative, judicial, public, and political. So there are two things that you have to understand here. Okay, in fact, this becomes a question in our test. When can a state be sued? If it is a governmental, okay, function, okay, if it's a Huri Histunes, okay, a Huri Imperi, the state cannot be sued. Okay, and if it's an act of the state on its proprietary function, meaning for profit, then the state can be sued. Okay, the general principle is that the state cannot be sued, okay, unless when the state gives its consent. Okay, so if the purpose is for profit, it's not within the function of the local government unit, because generally it's all intended for the general welfare, and entering into proprietary function and for which is for profit is not part of the governmental function, because basically local government units purpose is for services and not for profit. So okay, exercise for the special benefit and advantage of the community, and include those which are ministerial, okay, private or corporate. What do you mean by ministerial? Okay, as distinguished that from discretionary. And I think I give you a question on when can it be ministerial, right? And when can it be discretionary? So it's very important to know this, because there are two separate action again. If it's ministerial, you have no other choice but to sign it. If all the requirements are present, then the head, the chief executive, has no other choice but to sign it. Okay, if he will not sign, then the action for the party who may be aggrieved is to file for what? Mandamus. Okay, mandamus, it's an act compelling a person to perform his act. Okay, whereas if it's discretionary, meaning the person who is an authority has the power to approve it or not, then if the aggrieved party thinks that his right was deprived because of a decision which is unfair or inequitable for him, then his option is to file a case for grave abuse of discretion. So those are the things that you have to understand, which is you have to distinguish whether the act that he performs is ministerial, okay, or whether the act that the person who signs or approves is a discretionary. So, but when can you say it's discretionary? When he is the one who has the power to do it, to approve it or not. Meaning he is the frontline person who can decide whether to admit it or not. Okay? But if he's in higher authority, meaning all other subordinates already decided or in fact affix the signature, then you have no other choice but to sign it because your function now is ministerial. Okay? So under now the Red Tape Act or ACTA, before we have because of a bureaucratic form or bureaucracy, I mean there are so many persons who's going to sign a paper, and it is vulnerable for corruption. Okay, they can actually it can be a tool for corruption where everybody who signs will ask for under the table. Okay, so they will not sign unless you give them something. Okay, or that's an olden style where because of power that they had, they become abusive, and they will not exercise or they will not sign unless they receive monetary consideration. But under the Red Tape Act, under that law, only 3 signatures are now allowed. Okay, only 3 signatures are now allowed, and the local government units or even all government owned and controlled corporations should have a citizen charter. Okay, a citizen charter is a law where the procedure and payment must be posted and be known to the posted in the conspicuous places in such a manner that everybody can read and he knows what to do, when to get the document. Okay, and who are those who will sign. Okay, and these are now implemented. We had a friend in civil service. Okay, I was there representing sometimes in for many years as representative of the academy on the kanang regional advisory council. Okay, and right now, okay, because some of them are actually also our students in Masters of Public Ad, and they are now improving, okay, the system where if you want to know your transaction, okay, all you have to do is to read the charter, the citizen charter. Okay, so in fact they are now inspecting almost all, okay, government owned and controlled corporation whether they follow the ARTA and the citizen charter. Okay, so they're going to check if they have the citizen charter posted. Okay, and in fact they even interview if the transacting public knows the procedure. Okay, so fortunately our school was awarded for being the most environmental friendly. Okay, so if you can see right now, if you visited our school, there are many trees and it's like a garden. So we received that award. So in along that principle of ARTA, okay, there's no more break. Okay, we have the policy of no known break. If it is a frontline services, people should be there, and people should not wait for the government employee until they're done eating. No more. They should not have known break. But that only refers to frontline. So what are these frontline services? Okay, frontline services simply means that if you are a if you are a an office which caters public, okay, and let's say there are many people who will go there every now and then, you should not have non-break. You consider yourself as a frontline services. Okay, so in our case, the cash office is a frontline services. They should not have break. Okay, the accounting and the registrar, because people will go there for the transaction to get their um, transcript or whatever. Okay, so those are the frontline services, but others do not expect that that other offices will not have any known break. Okay, only the frontline services. Now, so if it's discretionary, again, all you have to do is to determine whether there is abuse of discretion. Okay, so your remedy there is not mandamus. You cannot compel him, but you go to court for abuse of discretion. When you have all the qualification, when you have all the things that it's needed, and there's no reason for him not to sign or not to approve, but he disapproves still, then you can file for abuse of discretion. Okay, so you should know that. Okay, it's important. Remedies are different. Now, so concerning health, safety, advancement of public good and welfare as affecting the public in general. Okay, so that's a purpose of government corporate. Seek to obtain special corporate benefits, okay, or earn pecuniary profit. Okay, LGU acts as an agent of the national government. So all the powers of the local government units actually come from the national. So but there are of course rights of the national government which cannot be exercised and not delegated to the local government units. Okay, for example, the defense of the territory in the region is not under the local government units. Okay, the police officers only maintains the local government unit, but not to the region. Okay, so LGU acts as an agent of the community in administration of local affairs. Okay, example of that is the regulation of against fire, disease, prevention of public peace, okay, establishment of schools. So those are the powers of the local government units, okay, community in administering local affairs. So another provision of the Constitution on the creation on Article 10, which is local government units. No province, city, municipality, or barangay may be created, okay, divided or merged or abolished, okay, or its boundaries substantially altered except in accordance with the criteria established in the local government code, subject to the approval of the majority of the votes cast in a plebiscite called for the purpose in the political unit or units directly affected. So in other words, any movement or any change of the boundary, okay, of the local government unit must be in accordance with a law and approved by a plebiscite. The plebiscite is a question whether they're going to approve the division or creation of a local government unit, and this only applies to the residents of the place where boundaries is altered. Okay, so for example, if Cebu, for example, will divide it into north, south, then all the people will be questioned whether they approve it or not. All the people of Cebu. Okay, so any LGU that will be affected, okay, will be included in a plebiscite. And a plebiscite is only a question whether they are going to approve it or not. So it's just probably a yes or no, which may be done regularly or special election. So normally to avoid a greater expenditure, they sometimes do it during regular election, where aside from the names of candidates that they're going to vote, they also check or approve a certain plebiscite. Okay, they're going to check whether they are in favor or against. Now we go to the general requirement. Basic, there must be an ordinance, as distinguished that from a resolution. Okay, countless times I keep on mentioning the difference between an ordinance and a resolution. A resolution is not permanent. No, yeah, it's not permanent, while an ordinance it has a force of a law. It's permanent. A resolution is just a mere expression of the wishes or sentiments of the council. Okay, it is not a law. It's only it has no force of a law. Why is it important to know whether it is an ordinance or just a resolution? Well, because there are acts actually of the LGU which technically it requires only an ordinance. Okay, an ordinance is a law, meaning if you violate that ordinance, there is a corresponding penalty. Okay, and aside from the one I've mentioned, the distinction, there are ordinances where if it has penalty, it must be published. Okay, because if that ordinance having a penalty attached is not published, then it has no binding effect. Okay, so if you're going to punish a person for violating an ordinance which is not published, having a penalty, then it's a violation. Okay, and the publication must be in a conspicuous places. Okay, it could be in a bulletin. If it's a province, there it must be published in a newspaper of general circulation. Okay, meaning that a newspaper having widespread distribution in the area concerned. Now, posting it in a conspicuous places, meaning of conspicuous, anybody can see it, like bulletin board. Okay, and not just in a particular place where only few people can read or can view it, like CR. Of course, it's not a valid publication if it's posted in the comfort room. Now, again, that change in the boundary requires an ordinance. Okay, so either by law enacted in Congress or in in case of province, cities, and municipalities. So a boundary in the city or municipality, again, it requires what law that will be passed? It's Congress. Okay, meaning there must be a statute. Okay, it's Congress now who makes the law. Okay, and any other political subdivision. What's going on? Can you still see the document, no? Makita ra? Can you see the document? Well. Now, so how about the barangay? What laws is necessary or what ordinance? Because we are talking now of a law passed by the local government units. It's an ordinance passed by Sangguniang Panlalawigan or Sangguniang Panglungsod. Okay? Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Provincial Board. Sangguniang Panglungsod, City Council. Okay? In case of a barangay within its territorial jurisdiction. So, if barangay, okay, you don't need to go to Congress for its alteration. You need only Sangguniang Panlalawigan or higher. You go two steps higher, because the next step in a barangay should be municipal, right? Okay, higher than barangay is municipal. But in case of alteration of a barangay, abolishment of a barangay or division, you go two steps. You not go to municipality. You go to the higher level. Okay, which is the provincial council. Generally, you go next, right? You go next to the higher body, and the higher body for a barangay in a municipality is a municipal council. But in this case, you go directly to the sanggunian concerned. Okay? So, but if it's within the city, okay, then you go to sangguniang city council. Okay? So if it's in a municipality, barangay municipality, not a city, you go to sanggunian, provincial. Okay? Meaning the province will decide through its sangguniang council. Okay, by the way, again, no, in the presiding of the council, it's all presided by the vice governor or vice mayor. The only exception is asa ganito in the barangay, where the presiding officer in a barangay council meeting is the punong barangay himself or the chairman. Okay, under the local government code, the term used is punong barangay. Okay, it's not barangay captain or barangay chairman, it's punong barangay. That's why in election you consider punong barangay, not barangay captain. Okay. So take note of the one who presides. Okay. So the chief executive, being the chief executor of the law passed by the sanggunian, is not present. Okay, that is why the executive branch has the power to veto. Okay, what do you mean by veto power? VETO, meaning reject or deny. Okay, he's going to reject it. Why? Because he is not there, okay, present, and it is his power to approve it or not. Whereas in punong barangay, he cannot veto. Why? Because he is there during the meeting. What's the purpose of vetoing it? He can veto it right there and then during the meeting. Okay, there's no point of vetoing because he is there. He can do it right there and then to stop the legislation and object. Okay, he is the one presiding during the barangay council's meeting. Whereas in the city or municipal council or even the provincial board, the one who presides is the vice mayor, okay, or the vice governor. He is the one who presides. So the chief executive is not there. That's why if he says that, though I do not like the law, then he vetoes it. Okay. So similar to president, Congress may pass a law, but if the president do not like it, doesn't like it, then he can actually veto, meaning he doesn't like. Okay. If for GEA or General Appropriations Act, actually he can have an item veto. Okay, meaning he can only veto a particular item. Okay, in this particular, but not all. Okay, otherwise it would be difficult to have a budget. Okay, so the preparation of the budget, is by September or earlier than that. Then Congress will approve whether what the heads of the agency submitted or head of the department, the secretaries submitted is justifiable. Then if you can justify it, can defend your budget, it will be approved by Congress. Okay, and by January of the next year there must be a budget already. Otherwise, if there's no law or no act, then it will be the budget of the preceding year. Okay, and that's what the president is afraid of when there was a conflict on the leadership of the Speaker of the House. Okay, congressmen fight each other because of the budget. Okay, Congressman Velasco and the other one representing Cayetano at the time of the conflict. Okay, because of their term agreement. The first one who serves as the House Speaker was Cayetano, and then the other half was Velasco. Okay, and the trouble was that although it's a gentleman's agreement, but congressmen do not want that Cayetano will be replaced. So they had a problem on what will be the budget. No, they had a problem because the chairman is the one who's going to preside the budget. Okay, so if you look at it, they are in trouble because of the budget. So you know, money is sometimes cause trouble of is the cause of all the troubles. Okay, so do not desire for it. It will just come to you once you have all the talents. Okay, it's like a butterfly. When you keep chasing it, it goes farther and farther. But you stop, look at it, the butterfly will just go to you. Okay, so the point there is that, I observe that the cause of all this trouble in our country is the desire for more. Okay, we keep on desiring for many things. And perhaps you just do not realize that the treasure is already within your grasp. I was reminded of a beautiful movie I've seen, the After the Sunset. Okay, just a break. No, I'll just well, to elaborate further. Sometimes when we are looking for something, we don't realize that what we have is already the treasure. Come God, it's the movie is it's a James Bond's movie, played by I forgot that actor. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. It was a theft actually, and he keeps on looking for these precious jewels. And one day there's a known auction sale in the middle of the ocean, and he rented near to that. His girlfriend's not aware that there's an auction going on at one night. So he rented a beautiful house near the beach, and one night he pretend to attend to he dived, then he reached that auction, and he stole the jewelry. Okay, so the girlfriend is not aware that is a theft. So the woman realized that there are police coming over and searching the entire house, and upon knowing it that he's still a theft, so the woman left him, and then tried to go back to their place. So he explained that, but the woman did not listen. So when he was already about to go home in the plane, and then he said that, all my life I've been searching for this precious stone, the jewels that he stole. He never realized that the most precious things in the world is right in front of him. And the girl, see, he was so obsessed with the position of the jewels, but the woman she had is the most precious one. Now, it's a nice movie. You watch that for those romantic women. Maybe you can appreciate that. Now, okay. So in the case of a creation of barangay, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, okay, and the recommendation of the Sangguniang Bayan concerned shall be necessary. Okay. To whom and what power may be delegated to the legislative bodies. Okay, under the plenary legislative powers, Congress can delegate to the local legislative bodies the power to create local government units subject to a reasonable standard, provided that no conflict arises with the provisions of the Constitution. So the local government units actually can make or create local government units. Okay, that power is delegated by Congress. Okay, so how about that? Not to the president. The power is inherently legislative, meaning executive branch has no power to create one. Otherwise, it may fall maybe under gerrymandering. Okay, gerrymandering is a style where it creates an office, the Congress creates an office, or creates a local government unit just to increase his um, political ambition. Okay, for example, he's going to create an LGU so that he'll become a mayor or a congressman of that LGU created. So that's maybe a gerrymandering. So the power is inherently in the legislative, and and to grant to the president's power to create or abolish municipal corporation would allow him to exercise under the LGU power of control is denied to him by the Constitution. So it is not within the executive branch. It is within the legislative. The power to create provinces cannot be delegated. So when a plebiscite is required, when the LGU created divided, again, if the people will be affected, then all the residents will be affected later on by the creation. Okay, if it's only within 2 barangays and their boundaries altered, then only 2 barangays will be affected. Okay, it's going to vote, okay, in a plebiscite. So what is that plebiscite includes conversion and downgrading. What is conversion? Okay, from a city to highly urbanized city. Why is most of the cities now applies to be an independent, or even municipality aspires to be a city? Well, because of the sharing. Okay, so of course you've heard of the news, no? There are 5 cities, and later on they become a municipality again, and then lately they become a city. So you have heard of Karkar, and I think Karkara City, and there are 5 of them. They converted from a municipality to a city. Okay, so of course you've heard, no? Okay, I'll just repeat what I explained last time. Under the old rule, okay, in the local government code, the criteria to become a city is, I think, 20 million income. That was the old. Okay, they qualify, so that's why they apply. But the League of Cities objected. Okay, they passed a law that the income now of a municipality who aspires to become a city should be 100. Okay, so because of that law, that municipality which aspires to become a city was again disqualified, so it become a municipality again. Okay, but it was decided in the Supreme Court, the appeal in Supreme Court, and they decided that under the old rule, okay, which at the time of their application they qualify, then there's no reason why they should not be qualified. Okay, only that the law passed by Congress at the time is intended for them not to qualify. Okay, so because of that intention for them not to qualify, the court was in favor of becoming them a city. Why is it that League of Cities are not in favor of municipality becoming a city? Of course, the share of the IRA. Okay, because they have different sharing. Okay, look at it. Look at the sharing of the IRA. If you are a city, your IRA is higher than being a municipality. So all municipality now would aspire to become a city so that they will have higher budget. So in this case, the League of Cities do not want. Why? Because if we are only few and yet somebody joins, then our share will be again divided to the new one. So instead of all of us will be enjoying higher share, a portion of that share will go to the new member, and that's why they passed the law for them to be disqualified. So, but the Supreme Court decided in their favor because the law was created for the intention of not allowing them to become a member. So that's very inhuman, or it's unreasonable. So that's why that municipality of Naga, and I think there are 5 others, become a city again. So Yes, municipality, it aspires to be a city, it becomes a city, and later on it becomes a municipality, and lastly, they are now a city. Okay, that's the case. Now, what is downgrading from independent component city to a component city? What do you mean by independent component city? Okay, independent component city, it doesn't have any. Okay, it's not under the province. Okay, well, component city is under the province. During election, the component city votes for the governor, while independent component city, it doesn't vote for the governor. How will you know that? Uh, how will you know the it that is independent or not? Okay, look at during election. Okay, if it's independent, you normally they do not vote for governor. Their mayor is there. Their mayor is there is the equivalent to a governor. Example, Cebu City. Cebu City's mayor, being an independent city, it does not vote for governor. Okay, the mayor is almost equal to the governor. So look at their charter, how it was created. The charter is the law that creates a city. Mm. Yes.